Welcome, guys. Let's give it a few minutes and let some people trickle in.
I'm really looking forward to that growing and access for my apps. So.
Welcome, everybody. Give us a second while we get everybody on stage as speakers, and we'll begin shortly.
Hey there, guys. How's it?
Hey, Jeff. How are you doing today?
Yeah, good. I systematically disable microphone and camera access for my apps. So whenever I go to speak on a Twitter space, I have to go back in and enable it for that call.
Yeah, you never know when Big Brother's watching, so you gotta keep that stuff right?
Yeah, yeah. You can do things like scan your phone to see if you've got Pegasus on it and stuff like that, but you never really know what change happens in an app that you've given permission to. So I always check.
Yeah. All right, so you want to jump right into it, or should we give the community a minute? Funnel in.
Another couple of minutes should be good. Just we're looking in at the current status of the plug migration into Otto and the redemption. So far, nearly 100 million plug has been burned, which is good. You know, we're a small community, but there's some really good engagement there, and I'm really looking forward to that growing and seeing more people bring their plug in and join the Otto chain.
Yeah. I think there was a shout out Agile to the audience. He's been playing with some cool Excel tools, tracking like those metrics.
Yeah.
Well, welcome everybody. For all the Americans in the audience, happy Memorial Day.
Yeah.
We appreciate you guys showing up to these spaces. Today's space is going to be broken up into kind of three parts, right? First, we're going to kind of do a recap. Otto just officially hit the chain last month, and a lot has happened since, and we'll just do a quick run through of all that. Followed by a discussion around education and adoption, empowering users in the decentralized finance. And then finally, at the end, we'll save some time for a Q&A. People here are more than welcome to raise their hand, ask some questions live. And I also have a nice list of questions that people have asked in the Discord that I'll be running through today as well. All right, so to kick it off, let's do some quick introductions. Most of you, like I see in the chat, probably already know me, but I'm Mo Fluff, and in the Otto Discord, I am Sandman. I've recently, I've known Jeff for over a year now. I've had the pleasure to work with him closely with some other projects, and I was thrilled when they asked me to help out with Otto. So I have a passion for Web3, and it's very exciting to be working with such great people on the tiposphere of emerging technology.
Yeah, we feel very lucky to have you on board as well.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Jeff and Saber. It's an honor. And then everybody knows Jeff, the founder of Otto. And for anybody in the audience that doesn't, Jeff, you want to give a little recap about yourself?
Yeah, I'd love to. I'm getting a bit of echo on your side though.
Oh, let me see if I can do anything about that.
Maybe just mute in between could work. Oh, that's better. Hey, I'm Jeff McDonald. I've been working in crypto since late 2017. Mid 2017 is when Plug was first initiated as a partnership between three organizations, and subsequently in developed the Plug Toolkit with a vision of creating a interoperable layer of blockchains that anyone could deploy, and having that layer of blockchains work so well together that you could have purpose-built chains. The Otto Blockchain is a furtherment of that original vision, and worked on creating a permissioned blockchain for investors who want to, use DeFi in a responsible way. And I think that there are more and more people seeing a need for that, and more people seeing a requirement to connect, interact with verified people, use verified contracts, and keep their assets separate from a lot of the other dangers and frauds that exist in the open blockchain. Now, I'm a big freedom advocate, so I super love the open blockchains, but I really respect the need for people and organizations, especially funds that are looking after individuals' personal money, like looking after mum and dad investors and stuff like that, to have a place where there's less risk and where there's more regulatory compliance, so that there's less impact from regulatory activities, because those are things that have really affected the growth of the space, and also have been a reason why many people haven't participated in the past. So I'm really proud with what we're doing. There are other people that see the need of what we're doing and are creating other different ways of doing it, but we are the first blockchain that does it intrinsically. And being a decentralized chain is something I'm super proud of as well, because creating a KYC, AML, CFT process and protocol without a decentralized blockchain underpinning it would be a serious centralization of control. So I'm pretty happy with where we're at on that.
Yeah, we've come a long way too since it launched last month. You want to talk about some of the current things with Plug Utility happening right now, and if anybody in the audience is not yet a part of the Otto community, there is a active utility happening right now that can get you on board early if you'd like.
Yeah.
So you want to talk about the Plug Utility?
Yeah. So about 2 years ago, we launched the Otto project, and then in early 2022, we allowed for a 6-month pre-mine of the original Otto coins, because Otto is required. Oh, I'm getting an echo again. Otto is required to operate the chain, so we allowed the Plug community to do the pre-mine of the initial Otto token. That would get us to the starting line for decentralization. Now, we allowed for 10 million Otto tokens to be mined, which would which would theoretically take us to around the possibility of 20,000 Catalyst tokens to be minted, which is a great start to decentralization. But our goal for decentralization starts at 50,000 Catalyst tokens, where we really feel that that's a significantly decentralized chain and based on it proving itself and proving its security and people joining it, should be able to sustain a significant amount of value. So very proud to say that today we're at 22,156 Catalyst tokens minted, and the community are staking those Catalyst tokens, and the blockchain is producing blocks and paying out Otto tokens to those stakers. The current Catalyst price is 580 Otto tokens, and if you bought an Otto token at today's rate or the current rate of 580.69 Otto coins, it would take you 1 year of staking that to make that back at today's rate. So a really good ROI as far as the Otto goes, and a really good balancing factor. Until 50,000, or 49,999 Catalysts are minted, the 50,000th Catalyst will see a halvening of the return, and then a continuous reduction therefrom. So it allows Catalyst to build value based on the value of the chain, and allows Otto to continue to work hard as the operator and the governance of the chain for the users. It stops the Catalyst token from being limiting the hard work of the chain, and it stops it from being devalued by capacity issues. So it allows it to continue retaining the security and backing up the value of the assets on the chain, while Otto users who have Otto and hold Otto hold the power of what happens on the chain. So it means that the chain is focused on delivering to the users rather than just delivering to the stakers, which I feel is a really strong balance. Because if you're participating in the chain as a user, you'll want to know that things are geared towards you, and people's the reward on the chain, which is paid in Otto, comes from those people who believe a chain should be governed by the people who are using it, which is a really good reason to back something, in my opinion. We have so far had the plug utility start, which is the newest thing that we have right now. It allows people who hold plug, which was distributed in 2018. It allows people who hold that to bring their plug onto the Otto chain, effectively burning it on the Ethereum chain, and redeem it for Catalyst tokens in a fair value process, which ends after 28 days. So I think there is how many days left to go? 20 days and 22 hours left. Yeah. So we've got just a little over 20 days left if you want to participate in getting some of the Catalyst and tokens in the early part of the blockchain release. You can bring plug tokens onto Otto and burn them in Otto to receive Catalyst, which you can then stake and earn Otto coins. After the 28 days, you can still bring your plug tokens in and burn them, but you'll be paying the 25 times the price of Otto, and that will continue for as long as people choose to do that. So 1 Otto equals 25 plug, effectively, in the Catalyst conversion. Other than that, that's what we're doing right now. The next feature that we'll make live very soon is the DEX and the ability, or the UI, because the ability is already there for the DEX and the DEX is already on chain, but the ability for from your Otto account for you to easily go in and add and remove liquidity, which should make using that a lot easier. As I understand, using a console to do that is quite a rudimentary tool and not really good. Well, doesn't make it easy on people who are using it for the first time. So I think that adding that capacity to your Otto account, so you'll have a tab there where you can add and remove liquidity, and it looks and works a lot easier than using a console. So hopefully people try it, go carefully, learn how it goes, give us your feedback, and then we'll make any improvements that we can after release. Oh, I can't hear you, sir.
I'd like to add, for anybody in the audience that hasn't created an Otto account yet, you also get a 10 Otto onboarding reward.
We can't hear you. You sound like you're far away.
How about now?
No.
Still far away?
Yeah.
Guess I don't know what to do. How do I sound now?
Perfect.
Perfect.
And there's now no echo, which is great.
And now you're quiet to me. I'll just hold the phone close to my ear. I would like to remind everybody as well, and add to what Jeff said. If you're creating an Otto account and you want to participate, there may be only 20 days yet remaining. Well, I would suggest you create your Otto account a little early so you can work through your KYC process and get where you need to be. Also, as an onboarding reward, everyone will get 10 Otto for their account. They'll get their, gas fees and everything covered to help them, start using the blockchain. And then moving on to our second segment, education. I have some questions for Jeff just to get to spark the conversation. And the first one is, Jeff, what are some of the biggest barriers preventing mainstream users from adopting decentralized finance, and how can education address these barriers effectively?
Okay, good question. From our perspective, we've dealt with a number of people in the open blockchain over the years, and we've also talked to a lot of funds out there as well. Currently, there are quite a few funds out there that work with companies like staking pools, because that's earning the blockchain reward from the block rewards is seen as not risking counterparty issues. But they haven't been able to participate in DeFi type products because they can't validate that they're not breaking any rules with regards to counterparties, which are making sure they're not trading with a blacklisted person or with a sanctioned person. whatever we believe about, whether people should be able to make those choices, from an investment company's perspective, they have to, according to their agreements with their customers, they have to follow the laws. So there hasn't been a lot of options for them. So I think that once they learn that they can bring digital assets into Otto and trade without counterparty risk or without known counterparty risk, that we will see a really strong appetite to try it out and see how it goes and see what sort of DeFi products there are. Another thing that education can do is help you understand the risks. One of the processes that we have for the Otto Blockchain is for any project to bring their assets on, they have to first verify themselves through a legal process before they can launch their product on the platform, and we're able to attest to that. They also have to go through an independent code audit. So the code that they want to put in their smart contract has to be verified by an independent party, and then they need to fill out a full information sheet describing what they do, what it does, how it works, and that needs to be put to the community for people who hold Otto to be able to vote whether that can be launched on the chain or not. That gives a lot of the surety that when you decide to put your DeFi investments into a protocol on the chain, that it's not a fake or a copy or a risk or a rug, that there has been some checks and balances and sufficient information given for people before they make those choices. I think that's a really great example of what you could do if you I see a lot of people in the open blockchains doing that already, doxing themselves, getting audits done, making sure. But the risk is that someone just blatantly copies you and spoofs what you've done, and a user may not know the difference. So on Otto, there is no, people don't have the right to publish a smart contract and offer those services unless it's gone through those two processes to get to a community vote, and the community has said yes. So it's a much safer position to be in. So I think educating on that helps people realize that some of the risks that they perceive in digital assets really can be avoided, and that they can actually focus on the incredible efficiencies that decentralized finance can bring.
You have a really good AMA question for you at the end of the space, kind of around some of the involved voting and the DAO.
Cool.
Another education kind of related question for you is, friendly user interfaces probably play a big part, as we can educate users while they're using the interfaces, probably plays a big part in adoption of decentralized finance. How can we improve user experiences to make it more appealing to newcomers, their interfaces?
It's a good point. So one of the things that I'm quite proud of for Otto is that it looks like what most people would be used to when they're interacting with an online account. We're trying to build UIs on top of that, and that's something that a lot of blockchains don't do. So don't look at the Otto account website as the blockchain. The blockchain's the protocols that work underneath it, and they keep working and they persist working no matter what happens to the website. But look at the website and the account interface as the user-friendly side of Otto. And what we're trying to do with that is design a way so that people can interact with their digital assets without having to fully understand all of the technology and systems in place. But hopefully by doing that, we'll be able to create more insights to it. So one of the things that you haven't seen, you saw a lot from us in the early days was education. Stuff talking about what we're doing and why we're doing it. Now we're going to be trying to break down more user-based information, details like how to do, what is staking, how it works, how to do it on Otto, and then those sorts of guides, so that people who are doing it can start digging in and learning a little bit more. For example, what a DEX is, how a DEX works, and how to use it when you're using Otto, and what happens with it. That sort of education will just continue to allow people who are involved in Otto actually improve their skills in Web3, no matter which chain they're on and no matter what digital assets they're interacting with, because they'll have that base knowledge and understanding by doing something that looks common sense on their screen, to understand what's happening beneath that in the actual blockchain and the actual protocol as they do it. One of the key things with our Explorer that we are yet to launch, the full Explorer, is that it's actually really easy to use compared to a lot of substrate explorers, and is quite powerful. But until you actually learn how to use it and learn what it does, it can be quite confusing. So I think that as people get educated on those little different user interfaces, they first can have like a quick transaction summary just when they look at their normal Otto account. But once they're digging in, having the resources to teach them how to dig in, how to research things, how to view things, they start realizing that the blockchain is a very transparent place where you can see everything that's happening or has happened, as long as you know how to look. And once people learn those skills, they can do research and gather data and make decisions, or even create new tools. And I think that's a really powerful way, that learning, starting from an easy user interface and progressing through with the education, with the help of the project to get there, will really make a big difference in adoption of Web3 and digital assets.
Yeah, and speaking of like interfaces and education, I'd like to note that we're pretty receptive to community feedback. Recently, we added some extra information to the Otto Kata DEX, just to help educate people through their process of using the DEX. So, yeah, open to feedback and communication for ways we can better educate you with the platform.
Yeah. Actually, someone made a mistake when they were purchasing Kata tokens with Otto from the swap feature on the dashboard on your account. They forgot to calculate, or they maybe didn't even know to calculate the change in price that it would take for to buy two of an item from a DEX when there is a limited liquidity available. So what happened was they plugged in 2 times the price of one, and because Kata is only is not divisible by anything, so there are no decimal places on Kata, it was almost enough to purchase 2 Kata, and despite the warning, about that showing up. It made he went ahead anyway, and what happened was they paid nearly double the price for one cat because they couldn't be given 1.9, for example. So that caused it's a loss because you didn't have to pay that much, but there is no way that the systems, it's a blockchain and a decentralized exchange, there's no way that the system can give you change for what you've overpaid. And I think that was a sharp learning curve. But the next day our team added a feature to the swap to show you what the minimum you would receive would be. So that kind of more likely highlights that you were only going to get one, even though you're paying twice the price of one, because you would have to pay just slightly a little bit more to get two. So, for example, but anything that we do on the user interface side, or any help that the community provides us with education on how it works and how they do things, or any requests for new features, that being early is a great time to share those with us so that we can get them on the roadmap and understand them and see what we can do to really improve this user experience for people, especially people who are seasoned Web3 participants, and they've seen things done better in different ways or seen better user interfaces. It'd be really great to get that feedback so that we can consider it and see what we can do.
Yeah, absolutely. Love feedback. I love active community members that participate and really want to share the vision and strengthen everything together. And then, let's do one last question before we move on to the AMA portion. And that is, in your opinion, what are some of the most essential concepts and skills users need to understand before participating in decentralized finance? And how can these concepts be communicated effectively to non-technical audiences?
I think one of the hardest things for people to get their head around, people understand having an account and people understand having a wallet and understanding signing authority and how that works is not a huge jump for people, but getting your head around tokens and tokenization, you don't have to understand how a blockchain produces blocks to stake, but you kind of have to get your head around what a token is and how it exists and how it presents itself and what sort of what properties it has. And then the next thing I think is the big hurdle that we would love for people to learn gradually and improve is what is a protocol and what is a contract and what is a pallet, so that they understand what features are, what functions are, and how their tokens and their wallet, private key, interact with that, so they can quickly understand the rules that they're playing by. And that's one of the things that we really strongly believe in blockchain, is that a protocol is code. If you understand the code, then you're dealing on a trustless basis, because the code can only do what the code says it can do. Whereas in a trusted basis, you're trusting someone to do what they said they will do, but you don't know whether they will do it or not, right? So trustless means being able to understand the code, and really you don't get to a trustless place in Web3 until you start understanding how to read a contract and start understanding how your wallet actually works. So I think the more that we can share on that, and the more information that we can give, and the more gradual people can learn that, the more people will actually enter that sort of trustlessness of Web3, of being able to trust that it's going to work, but also verify that it's doing what it says it will do.
Trust but verify. Absolutely. Yeah, that's one thing that I really like with a lot. Learning about protocols and being able to trust that there's no human error or intervention going on in the middle of your transactions. That's definitely like the next level of automation and just getting everything running smoother and with less hiccups.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of people use the term trustless without really explaining what it is. But the reason why something is trustless is because it's code dependent. And if both parties can read the code, that's why we call it a contract, but it's just code. If both parties can read the code and understand what the functions in the code do, then you don't have to trust the other person. You're just trusting the code. But if you don't understand what the code says, then you're blindly trusting. So you're not trusting and verifying, which is not really what we're here for, are we? We're here to have a smarter world where people are trusted to work together with each other directly, and we don't have to depend on government organizations to do all our bidding on our own behalf for us. And
power to the people.
yeah
Power to the people. Absolutely.
People. A more human-centric world.
Yeah. All right, now I'd like to take a moment and invite anybody in the audience, if you have any questions about Otto Blockchain or education in the decentralized finance space, go ahead and raise your hand, and then we'll get you on stage. And then I will also run through some of the questions asked in Discord afterwards. But we got some hands coming up.
Nice.
Before I continue, a quick word from our sponsors that make the show possible.
Hello, guys. Just make sure I got disconnected and came back in. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay.
Shall I bring someone?
Yeah, go ahead. Bring someone up. Yeah, I got disconnected. Sorry there for a second.
Yeah. Shilla. The very famous FUTUREVERSE. Welcome.
Yo, what's up? So my question is actually regarding one of your partners in Bridge Mutual. Oddly enough, that was one of the first crypto protocols that I found an interest way back when. And with that, for anyone that doesn't know, it's basically decentralized insurance, but it also felt like it was kind of way ahead of its time. And so I'm curious, with you guys partnering with it, and I'm assuming kind of the big aspirations that you guys have, what does that kind of partnership look like? Do you think it's something that's going to be mutually beneficial? Do you think that this is something that they're going to help you out more? Because I think the cool thing with this is it's covering a lot, because it's the KYC that you're trying to help people onboard in a way. And when I was into Bridge Mutual, it felt like people liked the idea, but it didn't have the use case. It didn't have that adoption. So, I guess speaking to all the partnerships, but specifically that one, what are kind of the benefits for Otto being in that partnership?
So, one of the cool things for Otto is that we're a blockchain that's there for DeFi type protocols to exist. When BMI first started developing, we made friends with them, and they're good guys, and they've got a real focus on research and development, and they've improved quite a few things along the way. So they've got that good thing. There have been some situations where a DeFi system has failed, and that's where they specialized in early on, is smart contract insurance. But the knowledge that they've gained around insurance, what we're hoping is that they can produce some more decentralized insurance tools so that people can apply them on Otto. Because we all know that hedging is a complex scenario, but also mitigating risk is a complex scenario. And we think that's a really valid service offering that a community can offer itself. And that's effectively what Bridge Mutual does. It allows a community to offer insurance or risk mitigation to itself, rather than an insurance company taking your premiums and then selling that risk to, and the assets associated with that risk, to a financial organization to underwrite them. So, I would see the way that the current insurance companies work as like really a great way to make a profit from people, and very extractionist, but and also doesn't respect the ownership of your assets. Whereas blockchain, we do respect people's ownership of their assets, but we think that the community could provide that risk mitigation to each other. So really happy to work with Bridge Mutual, and I really respect them a lot.
Just kind of a final thing with that. So you guys have kind of that insurance partnership with them, and obviously there's a lot of different DeFi type protocols covering different things. Is this something where, okay, now you have the BMI partnership, you're not going to take any other partnerships for DeFi within insurance, or how does that work? Like, if you have somebody that you're partnered with for a specific category, is it one partner and that's it, or are you going to try to bring in as many people as possible?
That's up to you. So every protocol that is delivered, like that is built on Otto, will need to go through the first stage, which is the documentation of the team that's delivering it, so who's providing the service. The second, and that's not a regulatory approval, but that does mean that the legal firm will have to provide an LO, so a legal opinion for the organization and for the product that's being delivered, and that they will have to confirm their identity. So they will need to have an Otto account, which has passed that level of KYC. The second thing is that an independent party, we have a list of independent parties. More can be added to that list through votes, but an independent party will provide a code review and a code audit for what they're delivering, and that will produce a report that's in everyday language, so that anyone who reads that report, and it'll be published along with the application, can understand what the contract does, how it works, and any risks associated with it. And it will need to reach a certain level of only having any minor risks. So minor risks are not flaws in the code, but preferably not even any minor risks associated with the code before it's allowed to go to vote. And then people who hold Otto token, and you can see that already in the console, our governance package, a proposal will be put there, and anyone with Otto can vote for it to be approved or not. But the delivery of that will be within your Otto account. You'll be able to read through all the documentation about what the project is, how it does, what they expect it to, how they expect it to work, probably who's behind it, or at least verifying that the people behind it are legally, valid, and then the legal opinion about the product, and also the code audit. So before you can vote, you'll have that information ready for you. So we really want to welcome lots of different businesses to come on board, and we're really glad that some of these sort of people who are in the space, who are ready to build and are ready to go through that process to start populating the Otto blockchain with really good product to begin with, so that people can get in and try it and see how it works and be part of DeFi in a new way.
Awesome. Okay, really neat to hear that you guys are doing it that way. Appreciate your time, Jeff.
No worries.
I'll keep listening.
Thank you so much. I'll keep listening to you too.
Thanks, Shelley. Ajam, you're up.
Thanks for bringing me up. I've got 2 questions tonight, but my first one's relatively short. There's been some discussion in Discord that the plug circulating supply number might be a little bit stale on CoinMarketCap. So I was curious what the plug circulating supply might be, or if that's something we could potentially hear in the Discord over the course of the week.
Yep. So on that, the circulating supply in CoinMarketCap seems to have been set at the time that the token was listed by them, and they don't. And what they've given us feedback is that they don't have an API to check that. So our team has been asked to give them an API to check that. Now, the current circulating supply is hard to tell, because most of the tokens were sold at a token generating event to qualified investors back in 2018. And those investors have had the right to withdraw or draw down their tokens. There were 3 stages to the sale: plug A, B, and the plug main sale. And over the last probably year, we've seen an increase in the number of those which are drawn down. When I look into the Etherscan account, I can still see that approximately 3 billion tokens haven't been withdrawn.
Okay, great. So then the difference would then presumably be an estimate of circulating supply?
Yeah.
Okay, super. And then my second question is, there seems to be a natural pull-push with the auto-circulating supply, because on the one hand, as more Catalyst tokens get minted, that would sort of increase the auto emissions. But obviously to mint Catalyst tokens, it requires auto. So therefore, there's also sort of a destruction of auto as the auto emission rate is increasing.
Yes.
However, with the plug fair value event, that strikes me as an outcome where the emission rate will increase because more Catalyst tokens will be created, but there isn't that sort of like naturally offsetting destruction of auto because people are using plug rather than auto. And
Yes.
So I was kind of curious how we should think about sort of auto circulating supply both now and after the fair value event, and does that sort of throw the balance out of whack at all?
I think that the way I designed it is that when it gets out of whack, it reestablishes balance. And I think that's kind of the way to look at it. When there's not enough auto around for all the activity that's going on, and now there's no activity other than staking at the moment. So Otto and Kata are very, very deeply intertwined at the moment because there is no third party involved. once more activity is required on the Otto blockchain, there'll be a lot more uses for Otto, and Otto will have a lot more things that it values, that could give it value. At the moment, the only thing that gives it value is the kata. With the plug community, we really need to have, to make sure our blockchain is decentralized and owned by the community, getting those plug users on board is number one, brings us more community members, brings us community members who actually hold something of value, who are willing to sacrifice that value and to be a part of the future of Otto. So, because they're not able to switch that to the Otto token, they're only able to switch it to the Kata token, which is the store of value, securing the chain. So we've got people who are committed to the Otto blockchain succeeding, joining us. So it's really good in the fact that it gets us past that really early stage of meeting that decentralization and value on chain level that we need to have a secure and safe protocol, not centralized protocol. And I think it's a good thing as well, because it progresses the chain into a slower growth phase. Because we're still in a very, very fast growth phase right now. And if we stay in a fast growth phase for a very long time, you never get that stabilization. You never get that genuine discussion of whether value is all banked in the future or whether value is being seeked today. And if all value is banked in the future, it can sometimes look like something's overpriced today. And that can be a barrier of entry for people to get into it. But let's just say after once it costs 4,000 Otto to mint a catalyst, you're going to be starting to think about, actually, what's the value? What's the real value that's here right now? Now, those are really sensible things to think about, and that's what we want people to think about. We want them to have those good questions that really help them learn how to make smart decisions in their investing. Does that answer your question at all?
Yeah, I think it does. Thank you very much.
A pleasure.
Thank you, Adam. So if anyone else has questions, feel free to raise your hand at any time. Right now, I'm going to jump into some Discord questions that were shared.
We've got Mo Meta here waiting.
I don't see his hand up.
Okay, I'll let him in. Cool.
Yeah, let him in.
Hey, mate. Oh, there was an error. Oh, please try again. Okay. Just waiting for him to connect.
All right, I'm up. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear. Welcome.
Hey, man.
Now, I'm coming at this from a very low-level power player point of view. I'm someone who educates himself a lot quicker once I have some exposure. So, for instance, if I have an exchange as an on-ramp, I have a MetaMask wallet, I'm hearing about Otto for the first time today, and I want to get some exposure to it, and I like what I'm hearing, how would I go about? What are those first steps? I mean, I'm hearing plug, catalyst, Otto. For someone completely new, what is that first step they need to take to have exposure to the ecosystem, to the network?
Amazing question. And yeah, play to learn is something I'm fully behind. The first step is joining Discord.
I can't hear Jeff if Jeff is talking.
Otto. Sorry, can you hear me now? Alright. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Jeff.
Okay.
So I think the fix for this is just hopping off stage and then hopping right back up on stage.
Mo, could you...
Sorry to jump in, guys. If Jeff is speaking and I can't hear him, can someone please let me know? Mo?
Yeah, can you hear me, Mo Meta? I guess he can't hear me either. Oh, great. Jeff, I'm going to move you down to the stage, and then I'm going to invite you right back up and see if that fixes anything.
Okay, sure. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Mic check.
Awesome.
1 2 1 2.
Awesome.
Perfect. That fixed the problem.
Jeff, did you hear my question?
Yes.
Oh, fantastic.
We almost got rugged, but at least Mo knows how to. At least, yeah, we know how to use Twitter.
Yeah, this isn't not my first rodeo up on these stages, that's for sure. So for a new user who just wants some exposure to Otto, just to start researching it further, what's that first step?
All right. The first step is to join our Discord. The second step is to go into the Otto ETH and start learning about what the actual project is. Because we're not a DeFi protocol. We're not a republishing of Aave or a republishing of BMI or something like that. It's a blockchain that's designed to be owned by the users. Once you've learned that and gone through that phase, the next step would be to ask or double check in the community of where's the best place to get plug token. At the moment, I can see that there are plug tokens available on MEXC to a decent amount of liquidity, and then there are plug tokens available in Uniswap v2 to a lesser amount of utility of availability, and then go through, set up an Otto user account, get used to the user like interface and things like that, and then you can bring your plug tokens in through the plug utility and then participate in the plug catalyst redemption. And those sort of 3 steps of getting your Otto account, getting some plug tokens, bringing them in, and then participating. If you can do that, then you will be able to be sort of at the early stage of the blockchain and be able to start using once you're earning Otto tokens from your catalyst, you'll be able to start using the chain and start engaging and doing things. Then you'll be at the same point where everyone else is, and you'll be able to start once we release the asset onboarding. So once the chain is secure and decentralized and we're ready to go, we'll be releasing the asset onboarding, which will allow you to bring your assets in and start participating in DeFi, which is the very, very start of real utility on the chain.
I love it. Join Discord, ask the right questions, and find out how to get some plug tokens to get involved. All right, mate. Thanks. Appreciate it.
No worries. Thank you.
Thank you, Mo Meta. And then on to some Discord questions from the community that just couldn't make it to the space today. I kind of broke this down into 3 categories. We have centralized exchange questions, utility and partner questions, and then some tech questions. And kicking it off at the top with centralized exchange, Jeff, can you provide any approximate timelines when we could see Otto on a centralized exchange?
We have 2 hurdles for that with MEXC. We have to have a whitelist open up with MEXC for where they can, because there's either you have to offboard or you have to deposit to MEXC from your Otto account to have Otto on there. And you have to, then the second step of that is you have to be able to withdraw from your MEXC account. So not everyone on MEXC is able to withdraw to an Otto account unless they have an Otto account first. So that's the development that's required, is the process for deposits and withdrawal to work in a way that protects the Otto blockchain and also protects the individuals on the centralized exchange. That's for Otto specifically itself. One other potential way it can be done, if the demand is there, is to have an offboarding of Otto from the Otto blockchain, so that it can be offboarded to another mainstream open blockchain, and then onboarded back to Otto to participate in the Otto blockchain. Doing that will be at the point where we have the full custodial asset onboarding process in place, and we will be open to a proposal to do that. So it'll be a community vote if that is to happen.
Okay, we have the second question. It's very similar, but it involves Kata, and it asks if we intend to list Kata on any centralized exchanges, and what challenges do we face with it trading in whole numbers?
Yeah. So on that subject, a Kata can exist in multiple decimal places off-chain, but just not on Otto. So, for example, if someone wanted to buy Kata on a centralized exchange, they would need the same process as for Otto. Or they would need, its equivalent on another open blockchain, so they could withdraw it from their Otto account, have it on an open blockchain, and then, it would no longer be at risk of any counterparty interference. And then the chain wouldn't be. But on a decentralized or on a centralized exchange or off the Otto blockchain, Catalyst can have as many decimal places as you want. But when you want to import it back onto the Otto blockchain, it can only be imported in whole numbers. So that's the scenario there. On Otto blockchain, if you wanted to create a token which fractionalized Kata, you could do that. You could create a protocol where if anyone who deposits one Kata token, it automatically stakes it, and the person is also distributed 100 fractionalized Kata tokens, as with multiple decimal places as a exchange for their Kata token. But that's a decentralized protocol that people can create rather than a protocol that's running the chain itself. So hopefully that helps with the Kata sort of challenge. There are ways of making it fractionalized, but just not the actual Kata token on the Otto blockchain. And there's very
similar,
reasons not to fractionalize it. Yeah.
Okay, then moving on, next category, utility and partner questions. After the Plug Kata event ends, will there be future Plug utility?
We plan to have future Plug utility. Of course, we're really encouraging people who hold Plug token to bring it in and participate in the fair value Kata event, because it really is the best way. If you want to convert your plug to Kata, it's the best way to do it. After this event happens, the amount of Kata you will get for your plug will be at a disadvantage, to compare to this actual event. So if you think you want to use your plug to get involved with the mining of Otto by getting these Kata tokens, this is the best chance for doing that. Also, we can't promise results. We can just promise to keep building and keep creating and keep trying and keep advocating for. Plug is a decentralized token, and that's owned by the community. And it's owned by a community that we really love and really value and really respect, and many have been with us for a long time. So they're always, part of our heart. But personally, I really see a big future in Otto. It is the blockchain. It is this Otto to Kata event is probably the best utility I've seen so far, other than the pre-mine event. Best utility so far I've seen for the plug token, but there is no doubt unlimited possibilities for plug in the future, and I just can't specify exactly what those are, or guarantee that those are going to be a better choice than what this is now. Hopefully that makes sense. I know it's a bit dancey with the words, but plug's important to us, and the community is important to us. So, and I really recommend, if you want to be part of Otto, to use your plug to participate in the fair value.
Thank you, Joe. Yeah, and we'll keep pushing through. I know we have to end the spaces in about 20-ish minutes, and I have like 10 questions to go. So let's push and see if we can get most of them addressed. If we can't address any, we'll just do an announcement, kind of recapping what we missed. Yeah. Next is, can you share any initial dApps launching on AutoChain?
I can't, because, and this is one thing that we've said all along, and I know it's been a long time since we started building, but we really love our partnerships. We really love the DeFi community, and we really love the ones that want to work with us. But we want to do their announcements as actually a special announcement, and we want to do them at a time where we know it's integrated, and we know it's ready to go, and we know that there's a call to action to take, so that people can actually not just hear about it and do nothing. They can hear about it, learn about it, get involved, and participate. And we think that's only fair to them, and also to you guys, who are the ultimate beneficiaries of the success. So yes, we do have some cool dApps coming, and yes, I hope we have like even more that I don't even know of, and I'm doing my best to evangelize for that. And hopefully the community, is creative as well and creates some cool protocols that they want to launch. But no, I'm not. I can't leak the early dApps yet. But I can say we're working with them and working on it.
I think that kind of answers the next question as well. But if you can't answer any future partners, maybe you can speak on some current ones. And the question is, can you share any partners and custodians joining the Otto ecosystem? And if you can't announce any future ones, can we do a moment and recap all of our current partners, such as Immersive and others?
Yeah. Everyone knows what we've announced in the past. I do want to say, though, that some of the centralized exchanges that we initially partnered with, because of their regulatory environment changes, it's much more difficult for them to start being involved in bringing, and what was initially going to be PlugNet was to bring centralized exchanges, give them a DeFi protocol that they could use, which was on-chain. But we pivoted to Otto, which is Web3 first, because of the regulatory changes that many of our exchange partners had. We're very lucky with MEXC that they're still a really strong partner of ours and really good to work with, and so far, haven't done anything dodgy like some of those other centralized exchanges. But we're lucky with them that they're still willing to work with us and to build out a solution that does things both ways. It brings DeFi to their customers and also brings our customers, the Otto community on board with them. So we're still working on that. On the other side, on the other exchanges, other partners that we have some very cool partners that we've already announced. PinkNode is exceptional for running and operating nodes on behalf of people. We have Moonstake, who's an amazing team of people that have a large amount of tokens under management, and they're all staking style tokens. And they are a very cool partner with really good relationships with us, and we're looking forward to doing more work with them. We are a FUTUREVERSE company, so and our chain is very aligned with the Root network, and we're hoping to get more aligned with the XRPL network as well, and see what sort of innovation can happen there, but nothing confirmed. So there's lots of these opportunities. Like I said, we should focus on what the actual product is when it's ready to be done, rather than speculation on how much something would be if some theoretical thing happened. I really don't want that kind of speculation happening when we're talking about responsible investing.
Yeah, that was a good integrity. Moving on to tech questions, you just mentioned PinkNode, and someone actually asked a question about PinkNode, and they asked cross-chain integration from Otto to other blockchains, PinkNode progress on a parachain. Is that the first goal?
So Otto Blockchain, if you actually look at it already, is parachain compatible. So that's actually surprisingly in this world is actually quite an achievement to begin with. If you look at the palettes that we have, look at the modern and current level of that, and that sort of it speaks to the technical abilities of our team, and how well they really know the technology that we're building with. So big ups to them. PinkNode is a pretty cool company because they enable people to run really reliable nodes, which provides that kind of security to blockchains that Bitcoin and Ethereum really have, which actually increases the trust and viability of the decentralized idea. So I'm really happy to have them on the team.
Awesome. And then just keep pushing. Is there any dev updates on the DAO mechanics or launch date?
I don't know the launch date for governance. The blockchain is not a DAO. It's a community-owned or a community-controlled blockchain. But, it's a decentralized in its nature rather than decentralized in its structure, if you understand that. the fact that the governance token is actually the gas token on the chain, is what makes the governance powerful. So the value doesn't come from its governance. The governance comes from its value. So and the community owns that governance. So I guess the governance protocol is there. You can look into it if you're good, and if you're a developer, you can have a look at it. But I'm looking for the soonest opportunity possible to start getting the community voting on stuff.
That's awesome. And then, you kind of touched on this earlier. Someone did ask.
We will have a user interface on your Otto account that helps you actually understand governance. So you'll be able to go in and look at the current proposals available and use your Otto to vote for them.
Some integrated education.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Easy to use to begin with, and then you can go deeper and learn more as you go.
Yeah. And then you touched this one a little bit earlier, but I'm going to have you recap on it since it's on my list. Is there any plans to release a tool which can see each transaction detail, much like Etherscan? I myself have learned there's a pretty good learning curve when working from Substrate kind of block explorers from Etherscan. And do you guys have any plans to make it more user-friendly?
Yeah, so we're going to launch out a user-friendly sort of transaction viewer on your normal Otto account, and we're working on improving the console all the time to add new sort of more powerful tools. It's similar to Etherscan, except it's not owned by a corporation like Etherscan is. It's just a tool on the internet. We're improving that tool all the time to make it easier for people to query the chain. Those tools, just to be clear, those tools already exist, but just making it easier for people to use. And also bringing that tool into your Otto account as well, so that you can quickly and simply, check the more regular, the more simple queries, without having to go outside the Otto account onto unknown web pages.
Yeah, right in your dashboard. Yeah. That's exactly how I would like to experience it.
Yeah.
And then we have a validator nodes question. How many core validator nodes are running?
5 currently.
That was a short, quick one. Can you address the significant increase in plug circulating supply since the beginning of the year?
I also covered that. People have been drawing down their investment in plug.
Next question. What is the current Otto Kata liquidity ratio, and what did it start at?
Currently about 560 is last I looked to 1. So 1 Otto, it depends. So if you want to mint 1, so if you want to mint 1 catalyst, it's 580.
580.69.
Yeah, 580.69. So that's how much it costs to mint. If you want to swap Otto for Kata on the DEX, it's currently Otto to Kata to get 1. It is 562.53. Otto, so it's slightly cheaper to buy it from the DEX at the moment than to mint 1, which is great. Initially, the first person who added Kata and Otto to the liquidity using the console seemed to have around 700 Otto in their wallet, and when they used the console to add the liquidity, they seem to have placed the 700 something Otto in the field where it should have had Catalyst, and ended up listing 700 and something Catalyst tokens at a 1-to-1 for Otto. So since then, the price has balanced out, but it seems like some people initially were able to buy some Kata for 1 Otto, which was pretty nice. Which is basically like being the first to mint as well. So it was pretty nice. But I can see that from that account, they seem to have been able to procure some more Otto coins from other people who participated in the pre-mining. So they don't seem to be doing too badly. As far as I can tell, we have had no complaints from them either way.
Awesome, thank you, Jeff. Well, that is all the questions in the Discord. I think we have time for one more from the audience if anybody wants to hop up real fast, but other than that, we will be wrapping up if no one has anything. No one raises their hand in the next 30 seconds. I see Amphibian in the audience. Yeah, a lot of those questions were presented by him today. Thank you for getting those questions out there for Jeff to answer.
Just so you know, on the cross-chain question, we are building very closely and to be very closely aligned with SenseNet and Root. So just keeping that in mind, and we're really hoping to learn more from Root's partnership with XRPL and see how we can build bridges there and build partnerships there. Not technically bridges, but figuratively bridges.
Awesome. It doesn't look like we have any more questions. I just want to, end saying, I'm proud to be working for Otto Blockchain. I'm, super happy that you and Saber invited me on board. And, I'm here for the community. I'm here to help you guys out with anything. Come into the community, ask questions, and, I'll do my best to get them all answered and, assist you guys any way I can.
Yeah, we feel very lucky to have you on board. I know your previous knowledge and experience with crypto projects, and then you've been an amazing leader in the Atom Car Club for the last year as well. So it's been, just finding someone to replace Jafar. We do miss Jafar. He's still part of the community, but he took a different role. So finding someone to replace him has been, you're the best case scenario, sir.
Appreciate that, Jeff. And then any final words to our audience before we shut it all down?
No, thank you all. Thank you all very much. Thank you for being interested in this project. Thank you. I think it's the start of something special. Thank you for those of you who have, taken time to learn, and a really big thank you to those who have started to participate and ask questions and dig in and learn things, and a super huge gratitude to the Plug community who have supported us all the way along as well. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Bye, guys.
Thanks very much for watching. If you enjoyed this content, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and maybe consider watching one of my other videos. Bunnies up!